Would you forgive the person who killed your mother? This was the dilemma faced by Ako Hoshino in the last arc of Oshinoko. And I'd like to say this video contains spoilers for pretty much the entire manga for Oshinoko. But we're mainly going to be talking about chapter 154 in this video. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Hey guys, so I'm editing this video and I just realized I was calling Hikaru Kamuki Himekawa, so anyways. The entire story of Oshinoko is building up to Aqua and Ruby's revenge for Ai, and it's because of this revenge that Aqua is always portrayed with this stoic expression. Something you've probably noticed is that in chapter 154, Aqua never ended up killing Himekawa, so it makes you think, what was the point of the whole story? A lot of people say this ending was dissatisfying or it was terrible, but that's not the point. Later in the chapter, we see Aqua saying that he still wants to kill Himekawa. But it's what he says in the next panel that really gives this ending its beauty. He says, "My sister, who should have suffered the same fate as me, chose to forgive others." And you're going to hear the word forgive a lot in this video because in chapter 150, we get a monologue between Aqua and Goro Amamiya. So throughout this whole story, this man, Goro, was basically haunting this dude, Aqua, to enact his revenge. Goro Amamiya was the embodiment of Aqua's PTSD. But in the chapter we see him say, "It won't be long before I disappear." Basically saying that there's no reason left for Aqua to kill Himekawa. And Goro states that his reason for disappearing is due to Ruby being the greatest salvation. Aqua has forgiven Himekawa through Ruby's forgiveness. Ruby chose to forgive in part due to Aqua being Goro, but mainly because she realized the pointlessness in vengeance. Something quick I want to just point out here is that Akane was wearing a cross on her neck in this chapter. And I know this is most likely done as a design choice by Aka Akasaka. But it's interesting how Akane, for the later half of the story, was opposing Aqua from getting his revenge. In a sense, you could think of Akane as forgiveness and Aqua as vengeance, and one of the key principles in Christianity is to forgive those who have sinned against you. So Christianity states that humans are not supposed to enact revenge, and Akane's opposition to Aqua, in a sense, is within accordance to Christian ideals. In other words, Akane is trying to save Aqua by preventing him from getting his vengeance. This was directly mentioned in an earlier chapter where Aqua said that he'd go to hell by himself after trying to protect Akane. Now, speaking of Akane, her character is extremely interesting within the story, and I'm sure other people have written essays about their character. But her role during the last few arcs as a minor antagonist definitely reminded me that there are other ways to going about Aqua's revenge. See, Akane is an intelligent woman. Her approach to this whole situation is the right one, because she is one of the only people in the story who know about Aqua's entire life, meaning she has an outside perspective on Aqua, just as we do as a reader. And us as the reader are able to realize as well, through her character, that Aqua doesn't need to kill Himekawa. And Akane said it herself in chapter 154, after Aqua finally decided not to kill Himekawa, she called it the happy ending. So she's in a way the correct one here. But Akane alone wouldn't have been able to stop Aqua. You see, it was mainly part due to Ruby that Aqua had allowed Himekawa to live. Aqua without Ruby, by extension Serena, and Ruby without Aqua, by extension Goro Amamiya, would never have been able to forgive Himekawa. All three of them, Akane, Ruby, and Aqua, were necessary for each of them to forgive, and ultimately forgiveness was the best ending. This video was originally going to be titled How Oshinoko Taught Me Freedom, because the ability to forgive others is the ability to free yourself from the chains of revenge. We see a perfect example of this in Aqua throughout literally the entire story. Aqua said himself in chapter 143, "I always feel guilty for being alive." His freedom to basically live has been stripped from his quest of vengeance. And what's even more interesting from this chapter is Ruby's response. She makes it clear that she feels the same sentiment, but then reveals in the next 4 panels with crystal clear intent. Aqua, by extension Goro Amamiya, is her only reason for living. Aqua is the reason she is able to forgive. She says to him, "If you have an idol, your world will shine brighter. You'll be able to love this shitty world." Aqua is the reason she can look at everything Himekawa has done and yet still forgive him. As Hayao Miyazaki said, love is two people inspiring each other to live. And I'm not here to preach about religion, but this really is the whole concept of Christianity. And people misunderstand Aqua and Ruby's kiss scene. Yes, it's incest, it's kind of disgusting, but look at it from a story and philosophical standpoint. disregard the physical aspect, Aqua is Ruby's reason for living. The now infamous double panel of them kissing, we can see Ruby's star disappearing as she confesses to Aqua. And if you don't know what the star means, basically what's happening when Ruby's star is fading is that she's telling the truth. And it's no longer Ruby who's talking, it's Serena who's talking. There's so much more stuff going on in Oshinoko, I'm sure you have missed it. Aka Akasaka is honestly a genius when it comes to adding subtle decisions like this. I really intended for this video to be focused on just one point, but I ended up covering a bunch of topics. I do plan on going in depth for each of these concepts in future videos, so do watch out for that. But really the main theme I wanted to convey in this video was, you should love someone, it doesn't matter who, but love them enough to be able to forgive others. Till you're able to forgive others, like forgive the people who you think are unforgivable, you will never find true fulfillment in life. In other words, freedom. You will never actually be happy.